Picture this. You wake up tomorrow morning, pour your coffee, and check your bank account. Everything looks normal. Your savings are there. Your paycheck cleared. Life goes on. But what if I told you that while you slept, while you scrolled through social media, while you worried about your grocery bill, the United States government was executing the largest financial magic trick in human history. A sleight of hand so massive, so audacious, that $37 trillion of debt could simply vanish. And you'd never even notice. Right now, at this very moment, there's a plan unfolding. Not in some shadowy basement or a conspiracy theory forum, but in the marble halls of power, in the silent vaults of Fort Knox, and in the invisible digital ledgers of cryptocurrency exchanges. Their tools. Bitcoin. Ethereum. Gold bars stacked to the ceiling, and a strategy so clever, it would make Houdini himself stand up and applaud. But here's what keeps me up at night. This isn't just about numbers on a screen or economic theory in a textbook. This is about your future. Your kid's future. The retirement you've worked 30 years to build. The American dream you were promised. And whether any of it will still mean anything when this is all over. $37 trillion. Try to wrap your mind around that number. If you spent $1 million every single day since the birth of Christ, you still wouldn't have spent $37 trillion. That's the hole we're in. That's the monster lurking beneath every stimulus check, every infrastructure bill, every promise politicians make with a smile. And now, someone thinks they've found the escape hatch. The question is, what's waiting on the other side? Let me take you back to a moment you probably remember. March 2020. The world stopped spinning. Businesses shuttered overnight. Main Street went dark. And what did Washington do? They printed money. Trillions of it, conjured out of thin air like some kind of economic sorcery. Stimulus checks, PPP loans, bailouts for airlines, for banks, for corporations. And we all felt that brief moment of relief, didn't we? That checking our account, that lifeline when everything felt like it was crumbling. But nobody told us the truth. Nobody sat us down and said, hey, this money, it's borrowed from your future, from your children's future. And someday, somehow, someone has to pay it back. The bill always comes due. Always. Fast forward to today. The debt ceiling debates. The credit rating downgrades. The whispers of a dollar that's losing its grip on the world. Other countries are watching, circling like sharks who smell blood in the water. China's making moves. Russia's stockpiling gold. The BRICS nations are talking about their own currency. The empire that was built on the strength of the American dollar is showing cracks in its foundation. And that's when Zeppelin started taking shape. Quietly. Carefully. Because when you're about to pull off the greatest financial reset in history, you don't exactly announce it on the evening news. Think about what's happened just in the last few years. The government's sudden interest in cryptocurrency regulation, not banning it outright like they could have. No. Watching it, studying it, positioning themselves. Then there's the gold. Fort Knox has been sealed tighter than ever. No audits, no tours, just silence and armed guards. And recently, whispers started spreading through financial circles. Whispers about revaluation, about digital currencies backed by hard assets, about a plan so bold it could either save America, or destroy everything we know about money itself. Here's where it gets interesting. And by interesting, I mean terrifying in a way that makes your stomach drop. Stay with me, because this is where the pieces start coming together. You remember when Bitcoin hit $69,000 back in 2021? Everyone thought it was a bubble. A joke. Digital tokens worth more than gold, and the so-called experts on TV laughed it off. But behind closed doors, something else was happening. The US government had been quietly accumulating Bitcoin, seized from dark web busts. confiscated from criminal enterprises. Silk Road alone gave them over 170,000 Bitcoin. At today's prices, that's billions sitting in government wallets, just waiting. But Bitcoin is just one piece of the puzzle. Let's talk about gold. The official story says the United States holds 8,000 tons of it, worth around $500 billion at current prices. Sounds impressive, right? But here's the thing nobody talks about. Gold hasn't been officially revalued since 1973. 50 years ago. Back then, it was pegged at $42 per ounce. Today, it's over $2,000 per ounce. The government still values their gold reserves on the books at that ancient price. It's like saying your house is worth what you paid for it in 1973. Now imagine this. What if they revalued that gold? Not at today's market price, but at some future price after they've orchestrated a massive shift in the global financial system. $10,000 per ounce. 20,000. Suddenly, that $500 billion pile becomes 4 trillion. 8 trillion. Enough to make a serious dent in that $37 trillion mountain of debt. But they can't just do that in isolation. The dollar would collapse. Other countries would revolt. The entire global economy would implode. Unless ... Unless they had a new system ready to go. A digital dollar-backed B-gold backed by crypto. A phoenix rising from the ashes of the old financial order. Now, here's where your heart should start racing. Because this isn't just theory anymore. The Federal Reserve has been running tests. Real tests. On something called a central bank digital currency. A CBDC. Your dollars. But completely digital. Completely traceable. Completely controllable. Imagine waking up one morning and the government announces a new digital dollar. They say it's for convenience. For security, for fighting crime and tax evasion. They'll make it sound wonderful. Revolutionary. And here's the kicker. They'll offer you a deal. Exchange your old dollars for new digital ones. 1 for 1. Simple, right? No harm, no foul. Your savings stay the same. Your paycheck stays the same. Everything looks normal. But buried in that exchange is the magic trick. See, when they launch this new digital currency, they back it with their revalued gold reserves and their cryptocurrency holdings. Suddenly, the underlying asset base of American currency explodes. The debt-asset ratio shifts dramatically. And just like that, trillions of dollars in debt become manageable. Not gone, but transformed. Restructured. Made to disappear on balance sheets through financial alchemy that would make medieval wizards jealous. You're still earning the same salary. Still paying the same bills. But the money itself is fundamentally changed. And because it happened through asset revaluation rather than default, rather than hyperinflation, rather than economic collapse. Nobody panics. The stock market stays relatively stable. Your 401k doesn't evaporate overnight. Life goes on, except it doesn't. Not really, because now every transaction you make is recorded. Every dollar you spend is tracked. The government can see everything. And more than that, ... They can control it. They can program money to expire if you don't spend it fast enough. They can restrict what you buy, where you shop, how you live. Financial freedom, the kind America was built on, becomes a relic of the past. A story we tell our grandchildren, who look at physical cash in museums. The way we look at stone tablets. But wait. Hold on, because just when you think you've figured out the plan, just when the picture seems clear, there's something else. Something nobody's talking about, and this is the twist that changes everything. What if the government isn't in control at all? Think about it. Really think about it. Who holds the most Bitcoin right now? It's not the US government with their seized stash. It's private citizens. Millions of Americans who bought in early. Tech entrepreneurs. Everyday people who took a chance. And corporations. Massive corporations with balance sheets that now include billions in cryptocurrency. They own the keys. They control the wallets. And here's the beautiful, terrifying irony. In trying to use crypto to erase debt and maintain power, the government may have accidentally handed the keys to the kingdom to the people. Because you can't revalue Bitcoin without making millions of ordinary Americans incredibly wealthy overnight. You coin back a new digital dollar with crypto without legitimizing the very decentralized system that was designed to operate outside government control. There's a war happening right now that most people don't see. It's not fought with bullets or bombs. It's fought with hash rates and blockchain and digital signatures. On one side, governments desperate to maintain their monopoly on money. On the other, a technology that's fundamentally ungovernable, designed from the ground up to resist exactly this kind of centralized control. And gold, that ancient, heavy, physical metal sitting in vaults. It's the wild card. Because unlike crypto, gold has been money for 5,000 years. Every civilization, every empire, every economic system eventually comes back to it. You can't hack it, can't duplicate it, can't print more of it. It just is. So maybe the real plan isn't about erasing debt at all. Maybe it's about transferring wealth, the greatest wealth transfer in human history. From the old guard to the new. From those who controlled paper money to those who understood digital assets. From institutions to individuals. Let me tell you a story. A real story about a teacher in Ohio named Sarah. She's 42 years old. 2 kids. Works 60 hours a week between teaching and her weekend job just to keep up with rent and groceries. In 2016, her brother convinced her to put $100 into Bitcoin. She thought he was crazy. Almost forgot about it entirely. Last year, she remembered, logged into that old account. That $100 had become $18,000. She cried, not because she was suddenly rich. She wasn't. But because for the first time in a decade, she felt like maybe, just maybe, the system hadn't completely forgotten about people like her. That maybe there was still a chance to get ahead. Now multiply Serum by millions. Truck drivers who bought crypto. Nurses. Construction workers. The people who are told to sit down, work hard, save your pennies, and you'll be fine. The people who watched the stock market triple while their wages stayed flat. Who saw billionaires get bailouts while they got pink slips. They took a chance on something new. Something the establishment said was stupid. Dangerous a scam. And what if they were right? What if the plumbers and the teachers and the single mothers grinding it out in this economy end up being the ones who accidentally position themselves for the greatest financial reset in history? But here's what breaks my heart. Because it's not that simple. It never is. While some people bought Bitcoin, millions more didn't. Couldn't. They were too busy surviving. Too busy working 3 jobs to research cryptocurrency. Too exhausted from just getting by to gamble on digital coins they didn't understand. So if this plan unfolds, if the government revalues assets and launches a new system, we're not talking about erasing debt equally. We're talking about winners and losers on a scale we've never seen. Some people will wake up wealthy, others will wake up left behind. Again, and the gap between them won't be a gap anymore. It'll be a canyon so wide, you couldn't bridge it in 100 years. So what happens next? Where does this road lead? Because we're standing at a crossroads right now, and the direction we take will define America for generations. Scenario 1. The government executes their plan flawlessly. They launch the digital dollar, revalue the gold, integrate crypto into the new system. The debt becomes manageable. The dollar maintains its global dominance. Crises averted. But the cost, every purchase tracked. Every transaction monitored. Freedom traded for stability. Privacy sacrificed for security. We become a nation where your money has an expiration date and your spending habits are analyzed by algorithms. Where dissent can be punished not with jail time, but by simply turning off your ability to buy food. It's efficient. It's modern. It's terrifying. Scenario 2. The plan backfires. Other nations reject the new system. They see it for what it is, a desperate attempt to inflate away debt while maintaining control. They dump their treasury bonds, abandon the dollar entirely. the global reserve currency status that America has held for 80 years. And with it, the ability to print money without consequence. Suddenly, we're just another country, no longer exceptional. No longer the safe haven. Prices explode. The standard of living collapses. The American dream doesn't just fade. It. 10. Scenario 3. And this is the one that keeps me awake at 3 in the morning. This is the one that feels most likely. It's messy. Chaotic. The government launches their digital currency, but adoption is slow. Resistors hold on to crypto. Some states reject federal digital money entirely. The financial system fractures into competing versions of reality. Your dollars work here, but not there. This store accepts Bitcoin. That one only takes government credits. The economy doesn't collapse all at once. It fragments. Dies slowly, like watching someone you love fade away in a hospital bed. And there's nothing you can do but hold their hand and remember what used to be. 3 futures. 3 versions of America. And we're hurtling toward one of them right now, whether we're paying attention or not. But here's what they don't want you to know, what they hope you never realize. You still have a choice, right now. Today. Before the dominoes fall. Before the announcements are made. Before the new system locks into place. This is UNT about becoming a cryptocurrency millionaire or hoarding gold bars in your basement like some doomsday prep. This is about understanding that the rules of money are changing. And when the rules change, the people who adapt early survive. The people who wait, who hope someone else will fix it, who trust that the government has their best interests at heart. They're the ones who get left behind. I think about my grandfather. He lived through the Great Depression, watched his father lose everything when the banks failed. He used to tell me, "Boy, never put all your faith in paper promises. They can disappear overnight." He didn't live to see Bitcoin. Didn't live to see a world where money could exist without banks at all. But he understood something fundamental, that the only real security comes from diversification, from not putting all your eggs in one basket, from owning things that hold value no matter what system is in power. So here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. The debt isn't going to be paid back. Not really. It's too big. Too massive. Too far gone. It's going to be erased, restructured, inflated away, or transferred. Some combination of all of the above. And when that happens, your savings, your retirement, your life's work, it's all on the table. The question isn't whether change is coming. The question is whether you'll see it coming in time to protect yourself, to protect your family. And maybe, just maybe, if enough people wake up and understand what's happening, we can demand something better. A system that doesn't erase debt by erasing opportunity. That doesn't solve government problems by creating citizen surveillance. That remembers America was supposed to be about freedom. Real freedom. Including the freedom to control your own money. Let me bring this home. Because at the end of the day, this isn't really about $37 trillion. It's not about Bitcoin or gold or central bank digital currencies. It's about something deeper. Something that matters more than any number on a balance sheet. It's about trust. For decades, we trusted the system. We went to work, paid our taxes, saved our money, and believed that if we played by the rules, we'd be okay. That our kids would have it better than we did. That the American dream wasn't just a slogan, but a promise. And somewhere along the way, that trust got broken. Not all at once. Slowly. A bailout here. A broken promise there. A realization that the people at the top play by different rules than the rest of us. And now we're at a moment where the very definition of money is being rewritten. Without our vote, without our consent, without anyone even asking if this is what we want, they're making decisions in boardrooms and conference halls that will echo through our lives, our children's lives, our grandchildren's lives. And they're hoping we're too distracted, too tired, too overwhelmed by just surviving to notice. But you noticed, you made it this far. You're still here. still listening, still trying to understand. And that matters more than you know, because change doesn't come from the top down. It never has. It comes from people like you who decide they're not going to sleepwalk through history, who refuse to be victims of a system they didn't choose, who understand that knowledge is the first step to power. I don't know how this story ends. I wish I did. I wish I could promise you everything will be okay, that the good guys win, that justice prevails. But real life doesn't work that way. The future isn't written yet. It's being written right now, by the choices we make, the conversations we have, the stands we take. What I do know is this: your financial future isn't something that happens to you. It's something you create, and creation starts with awareness. So here we are, you and me, at the end of this story, but really at the beginning of something much bigger. You came here looking for answers about how the US could erase 37 trillion in debt. And I've shown you the mechanisms, the crypto, the gold, the digital currency plans, the revaluation strategies, the financial engineering that makes it all theoretically possible. But the real answer, the honest answer, they can't erase it. Not without consequences, not without someone paying the price. The debt doesn't just vanish into thin air. It transforms. It shifts. It gets transferred from one group to another, from government ledgers to citizen bank accounts, from future generations to present holders of the right assets, from those who see it coming to those who don't. And that's why this moment matters so much. Because right now, before the transformation is complete, you still have agency. You can still educate yourself. Diversify your assets. Hold some crypto, own some precious metals, keep some cash. Don't put everything in one system, one currency, one basket. Build resilience into your financial life the way you'd build a shelter before a storm. But more than that, talk about this. Share this information. Have conversations with your family, your friends, your neighbors, because the greatest weapon they have is our silence, our assumption that someone else is handling it, our belief that we're too small to matter. We're not individually, maybe, but collectively. Millions of Americans waking up to what's happening. That's unstoppable. The Capital Chronicle exists because these stories need to be told. Because someone needs to connect the dots. Because you deserve to understand the game being played with your future. If this resonated with you, if it opened your eyes even a little bit, subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell, not for us, but for yourself. Because this story isn't over, not by a long shot. And the next chapter is being written right now. Share this video. Seriously. Send it to someone who needs to see it. Your brother who thinks the economy is fine. Your sister who's scared about her retirement. Your friend who's trying to figure out how to protect their family. Knowledge spreads like fire when people are ready to hear it. And people are ready now. They feel it. Something's changing. They just don't know what. You do now. You're not helpless. You're not powerless. You're informed. And in the battle for your financial future, information is the greatest weapon you have. The question isn't whether the system will change. It's whether you'll change with it, or be changed by it. That choice is yours. It always has been, and it starts right now, with what you do next. This is the Capital Chronicle. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and never stop questioning the story they want you to believe.